This is CW Iowa Live.
Good morning, everybody. It's 10 minutes past 9 o'clock. Welcome back to the program. Lou and Jackie here along with our good friend Sheree Clark from Fork in the Road. And as you can see, it's pretty obvious. We're going to be talking about things to drink here this morning, Jackie and Sheree. Now, we understand cold weather's coming and people are going to want to talk about, warm and hot beverages. It's going to be 90 today and 90 tomorrow.
I know. But here, you know what? You might think that that's an ill-timed thing on my part. Heck no. It's really good timing because here's the reason why I want to do this now. A lot of people have a caffeine addiction, and that usually presents itself in the form of morning coffee. And I've had people, a lot of times people will make that their New Year's resolution. The best time for me, and I've been on coffee and off coffee, I'll be completely transparent. I've been on and off at the easiest time to quit is when it's warm weather. By far the easiest.
When it's warm weather.
Warm weather.
Okay.
Because we like the hot drinks in the winter time because they warm us up. So if we can make the transition now so that our hot beverage isn't also caffeinated, we'll have an easier time. So the first step if you're thinking about doing something to get rid of your coffee is obviously to dilute it, cut back on it, switch to decaf, half calf, all of that. But then let's talk about what else we can drink if we don't want to be drinking coffee, okay? So I've got lots and lots of alternatives. A lot of times people will talk about tea being a switch. I'll be really honest with you. To switch from coffee, if you're a real good coffee drinker, to tea is a joke. I can't do
Not going to
it.
happen, huh?
It's not going to happen for most people. And here's the thing what we need to think about. There are usually three reasons that we're drinking the coffee. One might be the coffee buzz. Let's just get it right out there.
Yeah.
We like that a little electrifying, plug yourself in the morning and let's go. That's one reason. Another reason is the taste of it, that it's warm and it's hot and it tastes good and it has a little slightly bitter taste to it. And the third part is the ritual. Get up in the morning, start the coffee, start the day. It's all part of the process. So deciding which part of those things you are the most attracted or addicted to is an important part of it. So if the caffeine buzz is what part of your attraction is, then you're going to want to do some teas. So I've got some alternatives for that. So I'm going to start with you, Lou. I'm going to give you some hot water while we talk about Jackie's tea because Jackie's is uncaffeinated. This is hot water. I'm going to invite you to put the tea ball.
And this is a tea ball.
That's
this
a tea
wand
ball.
here.
Yes.
Is it loaded?
It is loaded. It's
Okay.
locked and loaded. It's got some spiced tea in there, and that spiced tea does have a little bit of caffeine to it. And while that's steeping, so you can see what happens, and you can just leave it. It'll pop up a little bit, but it should stay. It shouldn't pop out completely. And if it does, it'll hit me. So that's tea steeping. Jackie, you have a non-caffeinated version of the same tea. Sorry, and yours is a Celestial Seasonings brand.
Okay.
It's called Bengal Spice. And it's a really lovely, beautiful tea that has a lot of spicy flavors to it. It's got cinnamon and clove. It's got a little hint of orange. So does yours. But Lou, your brand is a local one. This is Celestial Seasonings. Jackie's having one with a tea bag that we put in a teapot for you.
Absolutely adorable.
Great little thing to make. Again, if ritual is part of your thing, the presentation is really nice. The Celestial Seasonings is the non-caffeinated version. This is, I bought spice tea is what yours is called. This isn't spice tea, but it's from Gong Fu. It's loose, so I put it into the tea ball. It's a really nice warm you up kind of a thing. If you like it creamier and richer, you just add a little bit of milk.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one option. The caffeinated version gives you a little bit of a buzz. The uncaffeinated version will give you all of the flavor, but none of the jitter. Okay? So let's talk about other tea alternatives. Another thing that we can do if you really are into caffeine is to try oolong. Most people are familiar with black tea, like English breakfast tea. People are familiar with green tea. Oolong is less known and less popular, if you will, but I really like oolong. It's kind of a cross between green tea and black tea, and it's even in the processing. It's got caffeine, not as much as black, a little bit more than green. It's got a really nice, mild flavor, and again, you can dress it up, you can put lemon juice, you can do all those kinds of things. So again, we're sticking with some caffeine.
Okay.
Another way to have caffeine, we've talked about this before on the show, matcha tea. Matcha is a powdered tea, and what I've done for you today is the green version, which is this one in the front, and then Jackie, yours is in the back. The matcha tea I've done today is make you a latte. Because what we talked about is sometimes we like that grounding, the richer flavor that isn't available in a traditional tea. Matcha latte I love. Okay, so what I did was I made it with hemp milk and cinnamon, vanilla, and a little bit of honey. Okay. Give that a taste.
And remind us why matcha is so good for those of us that need that little bit of caffeine boost in the morning.
What matcha is that the difference between matcha and traditional tea. Do you like it? You're giving me a little face.
It reminds me of almost like hot chocolate.
Yeah, because it's creamy.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So the difference between matcha tea and traditional tea is the whole leaves and we're steeping them. So this tea is the leaves and we're letting it steep.
Correct.
This is the leaves that have been ground up.
So you're consuming them.
And you're swallowing them because I haven't strained it at all.
So more potent, more of a kick.
Yep, and it's reputed to have antioxidants and other health-giving benefits. I like it. I find matcha tea to not have the kind of caffeine boost that coffee does where you're like, all of a sudden you feel plugged in.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is a little bit more even keel, and the good news about that is it doesn't drop you off the end of the cliff where you're like, nice. I need another cup.
Need another cup.
Right.
It does have a very unique flavor to it.
Yes.
What would you describe that as?
Some people call it earthy, and a lot of times when you say the word earthy, people go, ooh.
It tastes like dirt. Yeah.
Right,
no,
exactly.
It doesn't, but it has the aroma, like I mentioned, of a hot chocolate too. That's the first thing I thought of when I held it up to my nose.
Yep, and there's no chocolate in it.
There's no chocolate in it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, so it's just got that kind of a taste and a flavor. I like it. If you're just starting with it, add a little extra honey. Make it a little bit more creamy by add a little extra milk. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about other teas we've got as options. Sometimes in the wintertime we're going to be ill. Let's look at medicinal teas. I love this one for wintertime. Breathe deep. It helps open up the lungs. It makes you feel like you can breathe again. If you're coming down with a cold, or like you in broadcast, when you need your air, you're going to be breathing a lot, hopefully, throughout the rest of the show.
Kind of a habit, yeah.
At least until the end for today. At least the end of this segment, please. So breathe deep is one of those things that really will help open up and give you that kind of an option. There are other kinds that are helpful for.
Do we know what's in the breathe deep blend?
We could, if we could read, natural licorice
really?
flavoring, but it's licorice root, tulsi tea, ginger, cinnamon, peppermint, cardamom. So it makes sense. Those are aromatic herbs.
Okay,
yeah,
very
nice.
Yeah.
I'd say I have boxes of throat coat in my cupboard as we head into
great
the
one.
winter.
Great one,
I love that one.
A little bit closer to coffee might be this one, Dandelion Mocha Mint, which I really like. It's Ticino. It does have some cocoa powder, and it's also got some carob in it. Dandelion is really good for detoxifying the liver. It's got that kind of bitter taste that accompanies coffee. Once again, you could add the coffee condiments to it to get that flavor. Another one, kissing cousin to coffee. I've got a lot of options.
A lot of options. Something different than coffee.
Macchiato. Now there's two things about this. There's the thing that I like about it is even on the back it says it's good for energy, well-being, hormones, mood, libido, immunity. I mean, we got all the whole gamut covered,
all the
right?
good things.
It's stamped right on there.
Right, stamped on there. It's an acquired taste.
Okay.
So when you make it, and I didn't make it for you because I didn't want you to wrinkle up your nose. When you make it, I add extra vanilla, extra cinnamon, and extra coconut milk. And then you can pull back on that. But we had to acquire a taste for coffee, most of us.
Okay.
It wasn't something you
say, well, why do you want to drink it in the first place?
Because of all the health-giving benefits and because it's not caffeinated. Okay. But it does make you feel good. Okay. The last beverage I brought you is the golden colored one. Now, Jackie, you have in the glass jar. You've got the powder, the golden milk. It's called golden milk. It's really kind of a tea, and what it is, it's made primarily from turmeric, which you know is the thing in curry, which makes the curry look yellow. That also, again, has the cinnamon and the warming spices because we're thinking about wintertime. And then I added some coconut milk in that case to this. So if you look at some of the condiments that I like to add to things, coconut milk is present in that one. This is almond extract. I used vanilla in yours. To sweeten, I did use a little bit of stevia because I wanted it to have a sweet flavor. You could also use honey, or maple syrup is also really nice. And then a little bit of cinnamon powder. And I mentioned about using hemp seeds to make things thicker and to create a milk. This is what hemp seeds look like. If you put hemp in the blender with hot water and all of your extracts, it will turn into milk. So taste your golden milk. I think you're really going to like it. It's that one again. We've got all the options to sweeten and to enhance and to adjust the flavors. But I really like that one. I also will drink it at bedtime because there's no caffeine in it.
There you go.
If you really
And the benefits of drinking this one?
turmeric is anti-inflammatory. That's the thing that it's most known for, and almost every ailment that we have is a result of inflammation. So there's that, and then also it's got vitamins and nutrients in it. If you want to make it really turmeric-y, I also brought you a box of turmeric tea. So instead of using water to make the tea, if you use turmeric tea to make the golden milk, you've got a double hit.
Double
There you
hit
go.
there. If you're needing anti-inflammatory. This to me is a much more soothing, something like you said, I drink at night or just kind of warm the soul in the wintertime.
Yes.
Very, very nice flavor. Yes.
Yep. So the bottom line is realize that there's a lot of options. When you go to the store, don't just grab the coffee off the shelf because that's what you're used to. If you go to the coffee shops, many of these things are available. Most of the good local coffee shops have lots of options for tea and lots of options for other beverages that will help you get away from that thing. Because the reason I'm down on caffeine is when you're dependent on that, it becomes a cycle. It does interrupt the sleep flow. I know this from my own personal experience. I like caffeine. I like coffee. I don't like what it does to me.
Right.
It takes away my sleep.
Okay, now what was this tea that we were steeping here? What was
That one is spiced tea. That one does have caffeine. That one I got locally at Gong Fu. It's a really nice tea.
That's a really good flavor. And boy, does it have caffeine. Oh my goodness, this is great.
Oh, no.
And the nice thing, and you've taught me this before, if you need to kind of wean yourself, because some of us were just used to it, so it takes a little bit. We're
That's
not
really
going to instantly do the jump. The things that you put in your caffeinated beverage can be a healthier option than the usual cream and sugar and things like that. So take those baby steps to a healthier you and know there are options out there.
And you could start doing it every other day or start with it on the weekend when maybe the caffeine isn't that important to you.
Right.
And see what you think. And don't stop at one and say, I tried to go off and it didn't work. Keep experimenting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful
that
options
works.
this morning. Thank you so much. And yes, fall is coming, and these are some wonderful options, but great options every single morning to get a wonderful jump start to your day. Sheree, if people want to follow along with you, get more recipe ideas, or just know the wonderful things you love to talk about, which is creating a healthier you, where should they go to follow you?
Well, you'd hop on over to fork-road.com, and then you can email me at info@fork-road.com and let me know what you drink in the morning. I'm really interested in hearing, what viewers are doing, because it changes up what I do.
Right.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is very full of flavor. That's awesome.
Yes, I
Thank you
love
so
that.
much. We'll be